I've been doing this for like, I don't know, 2 years, and I forgot to schedule the. I've been doing this for 2 years, and I forgot to schedule the stream. What's up, Joe? Blake? You should have audio now. Low audio. Should be coming through now. I had it down too low. So, good to see everybody. Thanks for joining. Dude, too funny. Who's good to see you? Morning. Shanbot, good to see you. Broken Witch, morning. Thank you. I'm glad the audio's working now. I woke. Let me just do something here quick. Let me see. That's not great. Fantastic. Interesting. I think I was hoping for something else. Anyways. What's up, Phil? Tad, morning. What about to order a t-shirt? Was about to order a t-shirt. Where's Sean? I'm here. Gabe, morning. Phil, I mentioned. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I do prep the night before, and usually I schedule the stream. And then I realize so I got up pretty early, and I'm like, well, I got a little bit of time. So I'm reading this book about the Irish Republican Army and the Troubles. So very interesting book. And if you asked me the name of it, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Anyways, I got caught up reading the book, which is crazy for me because some of you may know that when I read, I go to sleep. So now I read first thing in the morning while I'm drinking my coffee. And so I'm like, I got time. And then I'm like, and I got to change my shirt and get ready. And then I realize it's like, it's like 8:00. I got to get this thing off the ground. And then I realized, I didn't schedule it. That's fantastic. Hey, Jim, reading aid. Good to see you. So, yeah, good times. Crit fail on the t-shirt. Get ready for an epic morning. Yeah, for sure. All right. Yeah, something like that. There is one thing missing that I must get before, everything is aligned in the world. All right. I think I'm ready. Okay. Question of the day. I thought it was last week there was something that came up. I'm like, we should save that for next week. And then I can't remember what it was, of course. Does anybody remember? What's up, Blake? Cheers. Last week the question was, what elements do you find appealing in your RPG? Orcus morning. Looks like he was busy hanging stuff on the walls and lost track of time. Yeah, something like that. Oh, I guess the angle's a little different. These have always been here. Not always. Games you run versus games you play. Oh, thank you, Jim. I knew I could count on you guys. Oh, man. Wayne, good to see you. Morning. So, yeah, let's talk about that. So should it be that's true, because they don't have to be one end of the same, right? So let's do that one. I don't know if we've ever had that question. What game, we'll say because I know you guys are overachievers, we'll say, what 2 games do you enjoy running? And what 2 games do you enjoy playing? They can be the same. I know it's crazy. It's radical, but they can be the same. 2 games. I mean, if you do 1 game each, that's fine. So what 2 games do you enjoy playing? tabletop role-playing games? And what 2 tabletop role-playing games do you enjoy running? Remember, though, you got to specify. Don't put 4 games out there and have me decipher. Running, 2. Playing, boo. What 2 games do you like running? And what 2 games do you like playing? Because I think sometimes as big gamers, they could be different quite a bit. Nobody? Did like my stream drop? All of a sudden the chat stopped. There we go. Thinking. Okay, just wanted to make sure. It's like being on a Zoom call and everybody freezes at the same time. Gabe says, Gabe, do you want me to answer them for you? Gabe Dibbing enjoys running Conan 2D20, playing against the Dark Master, probably playing and running against the Dark Master, and then probably playing Delta Green. Am I off? How far off am I, Gabe? Hoos says run, Harn, and The Walking Dead. Oh, look at that. Seriously, Gabe? Spot on. Well, you know, I tend to think I know people. Oh, pardon me. Blake says, running Hunter, the Reckoning, Monster of the Week, playing The Between, Mage, the Ascension. See, we don't have everything here. That's the problem. Like, okay, so Blake, for example, he picks these 2 games to run, these 2 games to play. Then the question is why, right? We just keep going down the spiral. Who says playing Hearn and Coriolis? Interesting. So the question is, for those that have just arrived, what 2 games, 1 to 2 games do you enjoy playing, role-playing games? And what 1 to 2 games do you enjoy running? And they can be of the same, one and of the same, or they could be completely different. This goes back to last week where we were talking about elements in games, and sometimes it changes if you're game mastering or whether you're playing. So I want to tackle that today. I want to dig into your gaming psyche, find out what that looks like. Broken Witch says running Delta Green and Deadlands, playing Delta Green and Earth Dawn. Yeah, I see. Gabe comes back, run 2D20 and VSD, play Call of Cthulhu. Really? And Delta Green. Oh. So Gabe, yeah, that is interesting, sir. I would not have pegged you for the dynamics there. I knew Conan 2D20 and VSD against the Dark Master would be in your preferred repertoire, if you will. But I didn't realize it would break down like that. Okay, all right, dynamics. Jim says running OD&D RBX and Roll for Shoes, and then playing. I'll try anything, but I'll go with Mothership and Delta Green because they're different from what I run. See, I think there is something to be said about that, right? Like maybe we run this game all the time and we don't want to play it because running it is playing it. And you run it because you're getting to play it more because you're the game master. And then when you play a game, it's like something you probably don't get to run very often, or it's a genre you prefer, has elements that you don't get when you run a game. Plus, they're different games. Like to Gabe's games, right? Like Conan 2D20 is pretty different from Delta Green. So it's like, going back to Gabe again, picking on Gabe. It's like the experience that you want to provide your players versus the experience that you would like to have provided to you, which is how I'm getting thinking about this. Obviously, it goes deep. I think it goes deeper than just the question at hand. Orcus Dorcas says running DCC and Delta Green, interesting dynamic there. Playing Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and GURPS. What GURPS? Playing GURPS. Just started playing GURPS and enjoying it, but you couldn't pay me to run it and keep tabs on everything. Well, that's a fair point too. I'm glad you elaborated, because there's something to be said about, oh man, I would not want to run this game, but I'm having a blast playing it. Reading Aid says, now I've got to run some DG for Gabe now. There you go. Gabe's a good Delta Green player. Jim says, I'd play GURPS, no interest in running it. Yeah. Hey, Jeff. Good morning. Jeff, the question of the day is, this is interesting for Jeff, because I may or may not know, as long as I've known the guy. So for those that have just joined, Jeff, what two games? See, Jeff's not a huge game master, but nonetheless, another interesting dynamic there. What two games would you prefer to run as a game master, and what two RPGs do you like to play? I cannot remember the last time Jeff has ever run a game, and I think it was bad. And for that, I'm okay with it. It's just Blake's RPG zone. He's in the zone. He's not just in any zone, ladies and gentlemen. He's in the RPG zone. This is Blake coming to you from the RPG zone. He says, some games I am not the best game master for. Oh, touche. Rather let someone more suited than bust a gut trying to stress out. Well, that's a good point too, right? Like, I want to experience Delta Green, but I don't know enough about the world, or I watched the show, but I'm not. It would be like kind of similar to like playing a like World War II game and saying I couldn't run it because I feel like come up light in the military space, right? I would much rather have it run by like someone I would consider more immersed or has that in-depth knowledge of that world, so that they could convey it more accurately and I can fall into it, right? So having been a military veteran, or like Hoos is a Marine. He plays Twilight 2000 different than some people, right? Phil McGlory says playing Forbidden Lands and Call of Cthulhu, running the One Ring and Basin. Ah, yes. Yes. Okay. All right. Ryan West, DCC and MCC, running or playing. I would love to play in or run a superhero game, but I haven't found a rule set that feels right. Oh, I heard the struggle is real in the super space. Jeff says play in D&D. And then he says running Top Secret or a game like Conspiracy X. Oh, Jeff. I don't know, man. I don't know if Top Secret aged very well. Anybody play Top Secret? Like the original in the last, 3 years, 4 years? But not a wrong answer by any means, Jeff. Thanks for participating, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow. Broken Witch, I'd try or play GURPS, but wouldn't want to run it. Yeah. Blake's RPG Zone, Gabe. VSD is against the Dark Master. Yeah, Broken Witch mentioned. Okay. It's like versus Dark Master. Hence the against. Because against the Dark Master, too long. ATD must be something else. It's reserved. It's a reserved name. Capital A, small t, capital D. Tad says, running Mothership in Ultraviolet Grasslands, playing Vaesen or Pathfinder /5e. Oh, interesting. Now that is an interesting dynamic, Tad. I think that I could totally see that though. Like, hey, I just want to get into Pathfinder or 5e and optimize the crap out of my character, but I would never run it. Like we would become what we'd prefer not to be. Like, oh, I hate running 5e. They're all about like optimizing their character. And then you get to be a player and you're like, yay. Good morning, Roger French. Thanks for joining, man. I apologize. I know you would have been here first had I scheduled the stream, so I'm glad people have either gotten their notification or was wondering like, hey, this guy should be live right now. And I haven't gotten notified. GURPS rocks. Use light. Jeff has played his fair share of GURPS. Shambot says, love to run WEG Star Wars. Love playing just about anything. It's like, here's Shambot. This is what I like. There goes that suspense right there. This is what I like to run. This is what I like to play. Fraser. Author, publisher. Nefriti Overdrive. I'll play just about anything, but I'll only run pretty simple systems. Old School Hack, Fate Accelerated, High Plains Samurai, and my own stuff. High Plains Samurai. Wow, yeah, you got to play with the neighbor's game, right? Todd Crapper. He's like the other RPG guy in my town, and so I want to play his games. Just kidding. Both from Canada. Top Secret. Bro, decades ago, of course. Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing, Jeff. Like, you know, what some of the things that haven't aged well. Like the Dragonlance. Have you read Dragonlance, Jeff, recently? When's the last time you read Dragonlance? Have you ever pulled those original trilogy books or even the Twin series off the shelf and read those, like in your adult years? And I say adult years as in like post 40 years old. Not that people that are younger than 40 are not adults. I just think that somebody that's read Dragonlance as a teenager and then reading it when they're like 40 and not discovering it for the first time when they're in their 30s or 40s is a different dynamic. Roger French. Prefer to run Blades in the Dark and Fate. Prefer to play anything, shrug. Okay, all right. Andy Hall, where you been all my life, buddy? How are you? You just need to swap Top Secret. Or you need to swap Savage, sorry. You just need to Savage Top Secret. That's the way to play it. Fair. I'm kind of at a conundrum and a crossroads when it comes to like these secret agent games. Like I love Cold War, Taylor Soldier Tank, two-bit spy. Taylor Tinker Soldier Spy, right? Jean Le Carré, great stuff. Probably hard to capture in an RPG. And then I look at like Outgunned, I wouldn't call like a spy RPG. Feng Shui, I wouldn't consider a espionage or agent based RPG. But something about like high action in those games. Like, okay, if you're going to play an secret agent game, I am torn between, some of the clandestine, like, social aspects, the being, having a traitor, screw things up, etc. And then and you could still do both, but I think the high action games always seem to be easier to capture. I don't know. That's just me. So to Andy Hall's point, Laramie, good morning. Laramie, 2 games that you like to run and 2 games you like to play. And they can be one of the same, but sometimes we're finding people all over the board. And then Roger says, prefer to play D&D 4th edition. Look out! And Pathfinder 2nd edition. All right. As he narrows down his I would play world. Thank you for playing along, Roger. Oh, at DM? Well, it's not at DM, right? Dark Master, I think, is one word, so it's literally like ATD. Borkus. Just saying. Hey, just saying. Well, thanks for making it back so soon, Roger. I was holding up the bus for you. Hold on, I know Roger's coming. Yeah, don't forget to like, everybody. This is like the spike on my views where it's all high. Ryan West, you're something else, man. Thanks for the reminder. So yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't, give it a thumbs down. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for notifications and all that good stuff. And it helps the algorithm help other people find my channel, huh? On my quest to 10 million in RPG YouTube domination. What if you like GM-less games? Well, then I guess you got to name 4. But I know, Tim, that you just don't like just GM-less games, so nice try. I guess it doesn't matter, Tim, if it's like not all your games that you ever love to play are GM-less. William Thorpe, morning. Go for you, Red Dragonlance. Well, that's still, you're pretty young yet. Yeah. You were pretty young though, still. What'd you think though, Jeff? Did you think they aged well? I don't know, man. I started reading like the Dragons of Autumn Twilight, and I was like, ooh, this was great when I was like 15 maybe, but ooh. Fun a series, if you will, but far from fine literature. There you go. There, I said it. Sorry, Tracy. Sorry, Margaret. I mean, what do you care? Like, it's some guy on YouTube. You've already sold millions and millions of books. You're all good. Reading aid. As a new GM, I'd feel a bit intimidated running narrative-heavy PBTA games, even though I love playing them. Yeah. Jeff Hull, otherwise nope. Got it. We've got so many designers in Ottawa. We've also got, I didn't know Jason's up there. Okay, I know Jason. Mark Richardson. Okay. Joshua Kitts, and I think Chris Chalice as well. Are you guys like in a writing group together? Do you guys like meet at the local coffee shop or Panera Bread and discuss RPG writing and design? You're like the Robert E. Howard, Lovecraft. Was Burroughs in that group? I don't even know. I might be off. In the sharing characters and design theories. Laramie, play Hackmaster 5 and Savage Worlds. Run Castles and Crusades and Hackmaster 4. Oh, that is interesting. So you're like, I would run Hackmaster 4, but I would only play Hackmaster 5. Is it because you know Hackmaster 4 better, Laramie? And that you would want to play Hackmaster 5 first before you ran into it? Ran it? Speculating here. Fraser's correcting me. Thanks. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. That's it. That's the one. Best secret agent game. You only need to play James Bond 007. I've heard so much about it. Never played it. Never bought it. I don't know if I want to try to find it because I think it's still pretty costly on the secondhand market, if I'm not mistaken. Or if you get it at cheap, it's, beat to shit. But I know little about it. I was around when it was out, but we never bought it. I think at the time, I have to say, I probably didn't get James Bond just because it felt like, well, if you buy James Bond 007, then you're playing James Bond 007, which I think we probably did in Top Secret anyway. But it was then, it's kind of like playing Lord of the Rings. And oh, by the way, you have to pick one of the Fellowship as a character. Kind of like Dragonlance. Roger French says Knights Black Agents, Cold City. I'm not familiar with Cold City. I just started NBA as a player. Yes. Interesting. It's an interesting dynamic. I don't think first of all, I've only played it as a one-shot at a con. I've played Gumshoe, Trail of Cthulhu, and I've played with Brett running. And that was I think it was maybe 4 sessions, maybe. And then I played Swords of the Serpentine that Wayne Peacock in the chat has run for us. And apparently, I don't want to say that we played it wrong, but apparently in NBA specifically, you don't take all the, I guess this might be, I'm not sure. Okay, so Sean, again, does not absorb every rule in the world and rules lawyered at the table all the time. Because there's so many to remember when you're reading all kinds of the games. But apparently, so if you're not familiar with Gumshoe, the Gumshoe RPG system by Pelgrane Press, it's behind Trail of Cthulhu, Fall of Delta Green, Swords of the Serpentine, the Esoterrorists, and Knights Black Agents. And the whole purpose, for those not in the know, of Gumshoe is to give you all the clues. That's the whole main thing. And it's to prevent kind of in some other games, it's hard to get the clue if you fail the roll. So in Gumshoe, it's all about, here are all the clues to everything. And then if you want more granular details, then sometimes you will spend points of your skills. And there's 2 columns of skills. You have general skills, and then I can't remember the other specific ones. One is and it's a D6 system, and most difficulty is usually a 4. If it's harder, then it's a 5, but you're rolling literally 1d6. And when you spend, there's 2 ways to spend your points. When you spend your points, the game master can say, if you give me 1 point to spend, or for that information, knock off a point of this. And that's it. Other times when you spend, you're spending the point ahead of time to increase your roll. So if it's a target number of 4 and you spend 3 skill points, chances are it's you're going to succeed, right? It's like, you can't fail because you'll roll a 1, add your 3, you hit a target number 4. My understanding, I did not know this, for folks that are in the Gumshoe scene, you probably know this, but apparently it's a thing to kind of sit down, at least for NBA, and look at all of your skills as a party and determine who's missing what. because you want every skill in the game to be covered. Because if you have every skill in the game to be covered, even if a person has 1 point in a skill, everybody else can pile onto it. And then that person's role covers, I believe, the entire party. So even if you have no skill, you could still succeed in a check. Right? And this may be just NBA. I don't know. But anyways, that was kind of how it was explained to me. Also, you get so many points to spend across your skills. Okay. So you put so many in health and so many in shooting and so many in languages, and you kind of break it down that way. And so in most traditional games, when there are skill points and you get that allocated, you get so many points to allocate to all this that you purchase, right? In most games, you take your character and you fill it out. Like, here's my character, here's the concept. I choose this skill, I put 4 in this one, 2 in this one, 3 in this one, 5 in this one, all the way down the road. And then it's done. Apparently, you don't do that, or it's not encouraged in Knights Black Agents or some of the Trail of Cthulhu, or some of the Gumshoe games, because you have those. So you kind of you about 3/4 bake your character, and you leave some of those skill points aside so you can use them when you come across the incident where you want to allocate it to a skill where you haven't allocated. In other words, a perfect example would be languages. If you choose languages ahead of time, well, I'm going to create an agent, and he's been burned. He's a burned agent of MI6, and he did much work in Germany, East and West Germany during the Cold War. So he knows German. And then he's also done some work in Romania doing asset handling. So he speaks Romanian. Okay. Well, if the scenario is like, oh, by the way, you guys are never going to be in Germany or Romania, then those 2 skills are kind of worthless. So instead of upfront choosing your languages, you wait until okay, we've set the scene, you're in Morocco. Well, I don't know, or France, right? Okay, my guy speaks French. And you write it in, you allocate the skill points, done, finished. Does that make sense? Some people are like, duh, Sean, did you even read the book? So I just thought it was interesting since somebody brought up NBA and Gumshoe. So I think the prior games, like Swords of the Serpentine was a 1-shot, or I think we played 2 sessions, Wayne, right? 2, 3. And so it was very much, here's the pre-made characters. And I don't know how much of that plays in Swords of the Serpentine, because the setting is kind of reminds me of Venice, Italy, right? Renaissance, Venice, Italy. Lots of water, canals, things of that nature. So everything was kind of filled out. But Trail of Cthulhu? Could you use NBA for Cold War? You can. They have different modes in NBA, right? I think they have different modes. And so yes, you could. It probably wouldn't be bad, but also NBA is Jason Bourne with vampires. And that, to me, doesn't equate to Cold War, although I think you can play it in a down. And I think when you switch modes, you don't get as much, as many skills or something. I think there's a trade-off, if I'm not mistaken. Jeff says 2E White Lies. Yeah. I'd have to read 2E again. I very much glossed it over. I've only played the first edition. Jeff likes what he sees in 2E White Lies. Anyways. Tanis is simply an emo teen. Tanis, he does have I don't know if it's baggage necessarily, but I do know what you're saying. That's hilarious. Tim says, I also like GM full games. That's too funny. Tim, I don't know, have you spoken up yet? I don't think I've seen yours. Have I? I think Tim Jensen is definitely, he's a 4E. Is he a 4E runner? And then he's a, I don't know, Tim plays so many damn games, I wouldn't be able to guess. Good morning, Eileen. Good to see you. Sean, they can't all be Gravity's Rainbow. I have to look the reference up. I don't know Gravity's Rainbow. I know. Do I have to sacrifice a nerd card now, or Blake's RPG Zone? Dragonlance is still better than Forgotten Realms. Realms of series. Some were so bad I slammed them into the bin. Yeah, well. Reading Aid says, reading Dragonlance now may be like listening to Gilbert Gottfried reading 50 Shades of Grey. Wow. I don't know if it's that bad. Come on now. Come on. That's harsh, dude. Oh, that's hilarious. A bunch of the Ottawa crew actually used to do a podcast about game design way back in the pre-COVID days. Oh, I didn't know that, Fraser. Huh, interesting. That's awesome. It's sadly gone, except on my hard drive, in the hearts of at least 4 people, 3 of which are hosts. You know what? Just throw it up on Spotify, man. Just on Anchor. It's free. Like, boom, bam, done. RSS feed, have it propagate to the different ones, call it a day. That's what I did with Gaming and BS. The only problem with Spotify, or formerly Anchor, is that I think it limits the RSS feed to like 300 episodes, which I know RSS has a limitation, but if you self-host, you can get beyond that. So instead of paying Blueberry $5 a month forever just to have our show continually be out there, I moved it I just uploaded all the episodes to Anchor or Spotify and did a redirect in the RSS feed, and now it's hosted and it can be out there forever. And as long as, Spotify doesn't nuke it. Just a thought. All right, Eileen says, love to run Cypher. And I love to play just about anything with a good GM at the table. Oh, that's small caveat. The good GM. Because the rest of us enjoy playing games with crappy game masters. I tease. I get it. Yes, very good. As long as it's a good GM, yeah. All right. And Cypher, big shock. Dorcas says, Gumshoe equals Call of Cthulhu participation trophy. Excuse me, I have to go chase some kids off my lawn now. Yes. Oh, Gumshoe equals COC participation trophy. Oh, Dorcas. The pictures in the old top secret books and modules are just great. Otis D. Willingham. Oh, the cover's phenomenal. I got to say, Top Secret's got the best. Personal opinion, I've always held the Top Secret cover and box of the utmost, the highest. Just, what's this game about? Here, just look at this cover. Oh, cool. Got it. Super awesome. It's one of my favorite. I should get that thing blown up and put on the wall and framed. That I just adore the cover of Top Secret. It, in my humble opinion, is the best cover of an RPG. And that, I'm telling you, there's a lot out there to stack up against. I don't care. I said it. There you go. Fight me. I will die on that hill. Because it's an opinion, so hey, what do you care? Fraser says, to all the comments regarding the RPG fiction we loved as kids and its general awfulness, right? It's a dynamic, but I appreciated it then. Like, that's the reason why I didn't do Tolkien, didn't appeal to me then, right? It's kind of an age thing. So I graduated to Tolkien, I guess. I don't know. Right. Dorcas says, there's no accounting for taste as a kid. There's a reason I have a picture of me in what is that? JNCO jeans? Oh my God. I don't even, from the 90s, stored way back in the back of the attic under lock and key. Phil says, so basically NBA has cheat codes because heaven forbid the party fails. Lame. Failure leads to figuring out new ways to press forward or having to cook up new ways to keep the game moving. Yeah, see, I don't know. I mean, yes, I see what you're saying, Phil. But once you allocate the points, then they're done. So it's while I understand it's like, oh, it's a way to cheat, it's also kind of the theme of the game. Because if you fail in Night's Black Agents, I don't know if it's as much failure as it is producing action based on, I don't know, based on what is occurring, right? Kind of thing. And if you just don't have points in it, like you can't, I think in the game, you can't do it. Like, you don't have any points. You're not going to make a research roll. Well, wait a minute, hold on, Sean. So let me get this straight. Like, as a person in my player character, I can't do research because I don't have points in research. So I can't go like to a library and like look up a book. That's dumb. No, you can go there, but what you find is probably zip. Like you're pulling the wrong books off the shelves. With a point, that is eliminated. And that's the theme of the game. The theme of the game in NBA is that you're very well competent at everything. And the thing is even if you don't have a point in the game and somebody in the party does, that person can lend their expertise to the rest of the party. Right? That's how the way I look at it. So if you're used to playing a different game where those things are something that you appreciate, then it's not NBA, because NBA is like, you're fully competent. You are, dude, the world doesn't exist. There is no Jason Bournes in this world. So there you go. So Wayne says, yeah, we were playing with pre-gens, but you all had 1 or 2 points that you could allocate on the fly. Right. Yes. Okay. Got it. True. Wayne is accurate, of course, because he was running the game. So yes. But I think in NBA, man, it was like, I'm not going to spend 10 points because when I come across things, then I will allocate them appropriately. Or like there's guys that have spreadsheets that have all the skills and all the players across the top. And then it's like anything that is blank is highlighted in red. These are what we're missing. So if you come across anything that might need accounting forensics and you don't have that skill, which is odd because you get the clues no matter what, but it's like, what are you trying to attempt? It's just, I don't know. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Tim says, I liked 4E, but it falls apart at levels 15. Oh, I know. That sucks, dude. He says, I never ran it. Huh. Jeff says, I would love to play Delta Green. Hint, hint. Jeff, you know where I stand on that. Jeff, you want to play Delta Green? Okay. When do you want to play? Oh, I'm really busy. You lead a horse to water, folks. Come on, Jeff. Ben White. Good morning, Ben. Good to see you, man. Laramie says, man, his internet's being fussy, better now than a game night. Sean, to clarify my position on Hackmaster, AD&D is just so familiar as a game we played for 20 years. That Hackmaster 4 is just house-ruled AD&D. I see. Got it. Thanks for a tip. Yeah, check with the other hosts, see if they want to resurrect our monster. You can just put it up. I mean, you don't have to kick it off and start putting up new episodes. It might get buried in search. I don't know how the search algorithm works on Spotify, but who cares? Like, it's there. You don't even need to pay for a website. Laramie continues, Hackmaster 5 is such a fantastically unique system with a non-round-based combat, active defense, and so on. It's a great game, but can be a lot to manage as a game master. Interesting. Good to know. Excuse me, it's people that make a game, not the system. Ooh, quite profound from the Hoos man. And while I agree, you can have a pretty shitty game, but you've got some good people at the table, it'll be fun. A bad GM run game does have some merits for some good water cooler talk. Indeed. Laramie says, I do really like NBA. I suck running it, but I really enjoy it. Well, and what I'm beginning to realize, Laramie, is that it is kind of, if you get the right group, you really got to put a lot of onus on the players. Like, you got to come up, like, hey, tell me, how do you do this? Like, literally injecting themselves and telling the GM what they see in the scene. Like, the game master has to be okay with that, and the players have to be, like, if you get a player, like, I remember Brett and I talking about this on an episode of Gaming BS. I don't know how it stemmed, where it stemmed from, or somebody called in, and it might be one of you folks. But there are players where if you crowdsource the table, right? I think that was kind of the element or the term we use when we say, "Hey, Laramie, okay, we'll go to the N, Sean," and I go, "Great, Laramie. What's the name of that N, and what is it known for?" And there are some players that would say, no, that is not my job, Sean. That is your job as game master. Don't put that on me. That's not, no. Oh, no. Hey, no. That's not me. And then there are players that are like, oh, I love that. I can inject my little thing here. So there's a couple camps, and then there's some people that don't care. So in Night's Black Agents, you got to have the players be okay with bringing up those details and saying, okay. So, for example, there's a scene that we were involved in, but we went to an orphanage in Romania, in Bucharest. Something happened there. We wanted to go investigate it. And we're trying to connect this orphanage with maybe some potential foul play, like it's a front or something's going on there. There was a contact that died after visiting the orphanage. So we go to the orphanage to investigate. Well, there's all kinds of things that people are talking about. Like, well, we could. And then when you investigate, how do you go about doing it? Do you want to go like after hours and do a filch job and go through and, ransack their office? Do you want to infiltrate it or act like a real rich donor and get to know the staff? Lots of different avenues, right? Like, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And one of the things that I did as a character was like, I think there's an angle of knowing, who all the staff are. So you could just say, I want to know who all the staff are. And the games master's like, how are you going to do that? So we go on site and my character is just kind of roaming around. Like we have a guy who is a character is posing as a rich donor type, right? Wants to give money to the orphanage, likes the cause, and is, providing money to the orphanage will alleviate his consciousness, right? An altruistic form. And so they give, oh, this is great. Oh, we'll give you a tour. And here are the children. And here's where they play. And here's the classrooms. And as you could see, some of our donors allowed us to, build this. And it was very nice of them. And we really appreciate it. And da-da-da-da-da. And tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do. And da-da-da, So they go off. And I just kind of roam around the little welcome area. And I say, oh, I go around the corner and I see like all the staff pictures. And I go through them and like commit them to memory. Because then what I want to do is I want to run all those and run an accounting forensics, like have our hacker guy go through all their bank accounts to see if any of them had a huge windfall of money, right? Because we think there's maybe some human trafficking going on or something like that. So if there's somebody where it's like follow the money trail, why does a person that works for an orphanage all of a sudden have a huge cash injection of $100,000? Oh, well, now we got something there, right? I make that up. I don't wait for the game master to come up with that and tell us. Where in a conventional game, it's like, okay, well, you see a wall of staff and it's all pretty and, their names and what their roles are. And you're like, okay. And then then the idea hits you. I don't know why I'm going into this, but I just figured I'd elaborate. Does that make sense? Tim says, but a bad system can definitely hamper a game. It can, sure. And the argument can be made that a good GM recognizes bad systems and either fixes or avoids them to begin with. Yes. Totally screen that. So you don't have to screen shoot it, just snip it. Clip it. Yeah, clipping. Clip it, Orcus Dorcas, if you so desire. And then Orcus Dorcas says, and don't some points refresh daily in NBA? Yes, they do. You're right. Yes. So the goal is to spend points. Like, yeah, spend them. Go ahead. They refresh. Some do not. Yes, you're right. Yes, Laramie, just at the person. Good stuff. Anyways, I don't know how I got on the NBA stuff, but running it. Going to Laramie's point about liking NBA but suck running it. So I think in NBA, you have to, there's the conspiracy, not to get into NBA necessarily, Knights Black Agents, but it's the conspirament. So you just have to have there's this entity and they're getting funding from this person who is in the political system and, just connect all the dots, right? Who are friends with this Russian oligarch and why, and then what, that guy's involved in arms dealing and, they're on a humanitarian mission with the Prime Minister of England, and then it's so as you kind of map this out as a game master, you let the players come up with some of those details and then you lean into what they bring up and you're like, yeah, okay, that's not a problem. That happens. Yes, you uncover it. Okay, great. Nice job. So sometimes I think that if you could plan at that level, because I think sometimes as game masters, we plan down there's a dungeon, there's a 10-foot room. In that 10-foot room is a treasure, or there's a, treasure chest and a bed. And oh, by the way, look above the doorway and there's a black ooze. Where I think in NBA, it's way high. Get way high and then let the players fill in the low details. Sean, that poster, it's like Boba Fett, but in 90s Marvel style. This one? Yeah, it is Boba Fett, man. And it is Marvel. There you go. There you go, Laramie. It's done by 20th Century Fox, and the artist is McCarty, maybe? I don't know. It's hard. Yeah. I did not show that to you. I think I showed somebody in my game. Yeah. Yep. So anyways, there you go. Good stuff. Thanks everybody for participating in today's question du jour. I much appreciate it. Let's get into some stuff, shall we? Hey man, let's get into some stuff. Cool, man. All right, man. That's cool. All right. Cool, man. Bum, 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 boom, 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 boom. Sounds good, Shambot. See you later. Take care. Thanks for joining. Oops. You can tell that Kenneth Haidt read and played some Apocalypse World before writing MBA. You should change the header to stuff. I should. You're right. All right. Typhon Games merges with tabletop RPG publisher Mindjammer Press. Not wholly familiar with both. I probably have talked about one company or the other, maybe during a crowdfunding campaign or something along those lines, but this is from Geek Native. The reason I bring this up is because I think one of them had a really hard time trying to get crowdsourced campaigns out the door. And I think with this merger, that's going to help things. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with either company or have bought products from them. So Mindjammer isn't new. Okay. So Mindjammer's probably known for things like Cafarnaum. Can't pronounce the freaking word. Oh, terrible. And Chronicles of Future Earth under its belt. And with the Lair of the Leopard Empress making a return after a bereavement. spun the indie into a state of shocked suspension. Typhon Games is new, launching with When We Die, but one of the British TTRPG publishers' first actions has been to merge with Mindjammer Press. So there's a little bit of a saying there, or a little highlight of, hey, this is who we are, this is what Mindjammer Press is, and the da-da-da-da. So Sarah Newton is the founder of Mindjammer. They're not going anywhere. We'll be joining Typhon Games as a director, so it's truly a merger. So there you go. Great. I figured people might want to know if they know of those games and of those products. Next one, Roll20. Roll20 mod scripts set in major improvements in March. Look out, Roll20 started to do some stuff over there. Not like they haven't. Okay, they've been doing it, but and I think scripts, if you pay for it, scripts have kind of been accessible. As a matter of fact, I know they have, because in order to run Star Wars FFG, I think it's one of the character sheets you need to run a script, and you got to pay for it. So mod scripts, formerly known as API scripts, are a powerful tool in Roll20 toolbox that allow you to do amazing things in your game using the power of JavaScript. For example, you can run advanced calculations related to your favorite system, unlock a huge library of chat commands and macros to manage your tokens, and even build entire knowledge bases with map markers that link all your game handouts together. So this is cool, especially if you got some technical savviness. But not only you, right? It could be like somebody else who creates something that you could use in Roll20, and it relies on a script that they needed to put together. So, which is great to see. You know, one of the things, I was kind of bummed about Roll20. It seemed kind of stagnant. And it's good to see them like, hey, and they have been doing things and changing things, but it seems like it's much more frequently and more impactful now than what it used to be at one point. So better logging, better performance, supporting new functionality, building for the future, good stuff. Yay. If you're a big Roll20 fan, I'm sure you're going to be happy. Hey, Adrian, good to see you. There you go. So that's good. Good. Want a big kudos and shout out to Paizo. Meet the Doom developers. Write silly words, win silly prizes. The Doom developers. Anyways, so major milestone. 200. They've reached the 200th adventure path volume, which is quite an accomplishment. I mean, kudos to Paizo. James Jacobs writes this kind of synopsis. So I want to read it because some of us, were big fans of Paizo. Many of us might have got on Runes of the, the first scenario, what is it, the original adventure path, Rise of the Rune Lords. So some 200 months ago, I was a wrecked ball of frazzled nerves as I waited for the verdict to come on the very first Pathfinder adventure path. So this was before Pathfinder was its own game, which he says. And while I had experience writing and developing 3 previous adventure paths, this was the first one that wasn't tied to an established world. They were starting from scratch. Not only was my adventure Burnt Offerings kicking off the first adventure path, but that volume also had to present a brand new campaign setting, complete with its own pantheon of gods, new weapons and items, world maps, new monsters, and more, and all at the same time. So many of us may have played Burnt Offerings. Goblins raid the town, you go and investigate it, and then some of our campaigns fizzled or went in a different direction. He continues on. I won't read the whole thing, but so here we are. He says, waiting for the 200th volume of the Pathfinder Adventure Path to hit store shelves. And I just wanted to extend a heartfelt thank you to all the folks who helped keep this going if I can read, going over the years, and to all the gamers who kept their subscription going and spent countless hours exploring the adventures we've been creating. Here are the reason we've made it this far. Yeah. And after all, and unlike the first time I wrote about Sandpoint and its many troubles, this time I'm confident it's here to stay. So Shadows under Sandpoint, coming back to Sandpoint to celebrate 200th volume of Pathfinder Adventure Path. And I remember that because I think I ran that adventure like twice, and it was fun. The intro to Galarian and the area of Sandpoint and the little village that goblins came in and ransacked. So there you go. Pre-orders coming there, and then Adam Daigle mentioned it as it weighs in. So anybody remember that Sandpoint? And Roger was going to correct me. Rise of the Rune Lords. Oh boy, here we go. All right. Where are my Shadow of the Weird Wizard folks? I need info. So it's out. Shadow of the Weird Wizard, when paired with Secrets of the Weird Wizard, gives you a complete role-playing game experience. So my understanding, this is the player source book. So it is now available on DriveThruRPG. It is not in print yet. You can get the PDF. And remember, Rob Schwab kickstarted this last year, ended maybe November? Brandon says he's making coffee. That's where he is. Okay. Well, get his ass over here so I know about Shadow of the Weird Wizard. Now, if you go to EN World and people have hey, here, so there's a review on DriveThru, and then that review came over to EN World, and there was a little bit of discussion about pretty disappointed. The layout's not as good. It doesn't seem as good as Shadow of the Demon Lord. So I want to get your take on this from other folks that admire Rob's work. Because everybody's there's no question everybody likes Rob and as a creator and a designer, but there's I want to know if anybody kicked in on this, and then nobody's looked at it yet. Shadow of the Weird Wizard, man, I'm so excited. I got the PDF. I haven't looked at it yet. All right. Well, there's it's a very small group, so I don't know. Here we go. Yeah, haven't read it yet, waiting for my hard copy, but now I'm going to page through the PDF, says Orcus. Yeah, I think it'd be a good time to do it because I don't know. Go to EN. I don't have the link to EN World. I don't think. Let me see. I don't. But when EN World did it, and then you go down below and they have comments on it, there was yeah, it's just not. I mean, there's people saying if I had known it was going to be like this, I wouldn't have backed it, which is kind of harsh. So, he's logging into YouTube. Okay. Didn't kick it. All right. Brandon, I could see the layout stuff a bit, he says. Okay. Thanks being a supporter, Brandon. I appreciate it. Brandon's the only supporter on this channel, YouTube supporter. So thanks, Brandon. Get the fancy icon there. But he says, but people are saying it's unplayable out of the box, which is crap. Okay. All right. I want somebody to kind of speak up on Rob's behalf because I don't have it. I did kickstart it. I gave him I kicked in $5 because I was I like Rob. I like his work, but it's not a game I'm going to get to the table. I mean, I've never gotten Shadows of the Demon Lord to the table. I think I got in on a bundle. So yeah. So there is a hubbub about this one. And I hope it doesn't, tarnish the game. It can get a little out of hand. I'm probably not helping matters by bringing it up, but I thought if somebody has seen it like Brandon and says, they're being too harsh, no, it's not bad. What I'm seeing is Laramie says Brandon volunteering to run this on BS or World 1. BS Landia. he continues, Brandon says, if you have any experience with Shadow the Demon Lord, it's fine. Rob said himself that you just have to up the difficulty of the Shadow of the Demon Lord material. Okay. Well, there you go. Next one. This was interesting. Didn't know this was in the mix. And even more so of a surprise that Evil Hat is doing it. So, new Tomb Raider tabletop RPG lets you beat Lara Croft at her own game, but someone needs to check its characters are okay. I'm not sure what that means. I didn't read the article, but the point is, Evil Hat Productions, a publisher behind some of the best tabletop RPGs, according to the author, like Blades in the Dark, Fate Accelerated, Dresden Files, so on, and so Spirit of the Century, Ahead of a 2025 release, Tomb Raider Shadows of Truth makes you a contemporary of Lara Croft on the hunt for forgotten treasures. Rather than trying to steal them, though, your adventurers strive to reveal long-hidden knowledge and thwart those who would steal and exploit artifacts for their own gains. But considering how messed up the heroes seem based on their character sheet descriptions, robbers and T-Rex boss fights, please have T-Rex boss fights, will be the least of your worries. Actually, I feel like some of them may need a hug. Well, doesn't every player character? You can see the official announcement. So I should have probably brought up the official announcement, and then, yeah, there you go. What is going on here? Why is this doing this? There's the article to Games Radar, and then here is the official announcement to the Evil Hat Productions. Mystery waits. Oh, it's Tomb Raider Shadows of the Truth requires 3 to 6 players, pencils, paper, and at least 6-sided dice in order to play. So I don't know if it's going to be a Fate/Fudge-based system or what. Your group will collectively create their team using one of the team playbooks and then build individual team members, choosing from the Crafter, Scholar, Hunter, Companion, Legacy, Changed, and Reclaimer. One player, the Keeper of Truths, describes the dynamic and compelling world around the team, also known as the Game Master, as they all make the connections which bring the adventure to life. Collect truths and draw upon your maps, aid in lore to boost your rolls as you race to enter the final tomb. The truth is hidden, the truth is dangerous, and in the end, the power of truth is what we make it. It's all about truth. Drinking game, truth. There you go, if you want to know more about it. Orcus Dorcas says he said on the interview this was possibly his last Kickstarter. If he's on his way out, possibly some HS senioritis. I don't know. He's talking about Rob Schwab. I don't know. Maybe Rob. I mean, he could be frustrated with just everything. You know. It'd be high school. Okay, probably some high school senioritis. Maybe. Moving on. Deanna Jones Award. It's Diana, Sean. If it's from the Indiana Jones RPG, then it's Deanna. Just saying, okay? Why is my light so dim? I need some light. Deanna Jones Award. Submissions are open April 2nd, 2024. So submissions are now open for the Deanna Jones Award Emerging Designer Program. This program focuses on amplifying the voices. The Emerging Designer Program provides both access and support. Submit these materials here. Paragraph about the designer, things of that nature. So they are underway. I don't think you can nominate like what they come up with. Because it's different than like what the award is given. This is like a side, like another piece of the Deanna Jones Awards. And then you can look at all the award winners. So they are open. You could submit for the Emerging Designer Awards. It's zine. It belongs in a museum. Anyways, there you go. Deanna Jones. Next. So this is interesting. And I think Justin Alexander posted this on Twitter. That's where I found this. Playing at the World, 2nd edition. So if you're not familiar with Playing at the World, 1st edition, it's the size of a programming book. Like, I'm not bullshitting. It's like, I don't know, 800,000 pages, like huge programming textbook, Playing at the World by John Peterson. And if you haven't known who John Peterson, and he is a very big historian, specifically in the kind of TSR, from when Gary was like wargaming all the way up through, and Playing at the World was a beast of a book. And so he's doing a 2nd edition, apparently. And Playing at the World was originally 2012. I saw somewhere, like Twitter, somewhere, X, whatever it's called, somebody was trying to find a copy of Playing at the World. Maybe it was even our Discord. And apparently it's like going for big bucks because it's out of print. Like, I don't think you can find a hard copy, which I think I got rid of mine quite a while ago. It's just, I started reading it and I'm like, oh, whoa, I can't. I just can't. So it's a great tome, dense, super dense. So he's doing the second one, The Invention of Dungeons and Dragons, and it says, you can't see it like probably on the screen, but it says published July 30th, 2024 from MIT Press. So expect this to come out. And I guess you could pre-order here. So for the historical buffs out there that appreciate, like, John is definitely knowledgeable, no question about it. He's been featured in documentaries, he's spoken at conventions and written books. So I'm not going to jab Playing at the World. I didn't care to read it, but my understanding, it was very pro-Gary, a little biased. Well, I don't know. Maybe, probably, who knows? Like, there's definitely a bend that's the way the hobby is. Like, you either didn't care for Gary or you're a radical fanatic and everything is like Gygaxian. And I think, I don't remember what John's relationship was, but 720 pages. The new edition of Playing at the Worlds is the first of 2 volumes that update the 720-page original tome of the same name from 2012. It tells a little bit about the invention of Dungeons and Dragons, which explores the publication of that iconic game. The second volume is The 3 Pillars of Role-Playing Games, a deeper dive into the history of the setting, system, and character of D&D. In this first volume, John Peterson distills the story of how the wargaming clubs and fanzines circulating around the upper Midwest in the 70s culminated in Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson's seminal role-playing game, D&D. It augments the research of the original editions with new insights into the crucial period 72 to 73 when D&D began to take shape. He continues. Great. There you go. It's totally an academic read, I think. It's just so, I thought it was more on gaming, like, overall, and I think it started I don't remember. It's been a while, but all I can say is that it didn't start with D&D. Larry says, I disagree. I feel like Slaying the Dragon was very Gary was a person, in my opinion. Not pro, not anti, just he was human. Yeah. True. Phil says, I've been really enjoying Game Wizards, the epic battle for Dungeons and Dragons by John. It feels unbiased. I don't think Arneson or Gygax came out of it in a good light. I have it. I started reading it. I have not finished it. That's another John Peterson book. And then, of course, hey, Free League, one of the greatest role-playing game publishers in the entire galaxy. I can't even say it with a straight face. Coriolis. Yeah, baby. Phil knows the deal. Coriolis, the great dark role-playing game announced. It's its own thing. He's David Pumpkins, man. And who are you? We're our own thing. Anyways, that's not how it goes. But Coriolis, Sean, are you going to get in on this Kickstarter? I don't know. Maybe. I played Coriolis once. I had 3 books. This is interesting because it kind of takes a little different take on it. Reading from this email that they sent out, we are incredibly excited and proud to announce Coriolis the Great Dark. It's coming March 19th to Kickstarter. Our brand new science fiction role-playing game about exploration, mysteries, and intrigue at the far edge of space. Venture out into the unknown on mighty great ships, delve deep into ancient ruins, and partake in the Byzantine schemes of powerful guilds. It will be launched on Kickstarter. It emphasizes mystery, a sense of wonder, and breathtaking visuals. It is a fully standalone game, but is also the spiritual sequel to our critically acclaimed Coriolis, The Third Horizon. Free League's very first science fiction RPG, Coriolis, The Third Horizon, was granted the Judges Spotlight in the Annie Awards in 2017 and was one of the first international releases from Free League. Side note, Free League, the company name, is derived from a faction in Coriolis. There you go. The more you know. Is this a second edition or something different? It is. So I think one of the beefs with the original Coriolis is the dark points. Is that what they're called? Hoos. And yes, to Hoos's point, it's a sequel. So I'm wondering if they're going to fix any of that or if it's going to remain the same. So about the game, Coriolis the Great Dark launches you into a desolate part of space, the Lost Horizon. So I would go into this darkness points. Thank you. So darkness points have always kind of been an issue. It's a meta currency the game master can use to kind of screw around with the players. And some people have found it. It's not they just don't care for that mechanic piece. I haven't played it enough to comment. I think if you get a good game master, they'll use it in a way that's makes the game more interesting versus I'm just going to go out and screw the players. So continuing here. So there was talks of, I think back in the day, I thought there was a rumor that they were going to redo Coriolis. And Hoos says, hey, here, I found this page. Here's the roadmap of Free League stuff. And it was a press release that Free League had sent out to some of their media partners. And I had seen it, and there was no mention of Coriolis whatsoever on any of it. So Hoos and I were kind of well, I guess that, it's just a rumor. It's probably not happening. And then literally what was that, Hoos, 2 weeks ago? And then now this comes out. So I don't know if they're going to change much of the core game as much as maybe the setting and what the themes are. I have to think that there's probably going to be some elements because every game they put out is a little bit different. So I continue because shill's got a shill. Coriolis the Great Dark launches you into a desolate part of space, the Lost Horizon. Here, a fledgling human civilization who fled war tries to stake out a new life in a harsh environment while expeditions are sent out into deep space to find resources for survival and valuable artifacts. Science fiction West Marches, anyone? As explorers in forgotten star systems, players will partake in expeditions on mighty great ships and venture into ruins after a long-lost civilization of godlike beings. Coriolis the Great Dark is a game about hope and enduring against all odds. Now, because they're emphasizing the exploration part, I could see elements from Forbidden Lands and original Coriolis coming into play, but there may be You're on a great ship. You're going to explore something. Here's exploration rules and how that works, aka the journey, if you've ever played Forbidden Lands. The RPG will showcase the all-new setting as well as mechanics. I guess I should just read the whole thing first. With themes like exploration, sense of wonder, sci-fi action, and faction intrigue, the rules will include explorer generation, combat, exploration, and expeditions. Yeah, baby. I will get in on this. There you go. So, hey, shocker. Hey, surprise. Surprise. A box campaign set entitled The Flowers of Elgarab will also be part of the Kickstarter and delivered alongside the core game. Coriolis has got so much history, so many things that is just, if you like that stuff, it's awesome. If it's like, oh, I'd rather create it and, then maybe not so much. So it's going to be based on Year Zero engine, used in award-winning games such as Alien, Blade Runner. Part of me is like, I wish they wouldn't put Twilight 2000 and Blade Runner in the same. Like, I wish they'd call that like Year Zero 2 or Year Zero Engine Plus, because they're similar, but they are different from Tales from the Loop, Forbidden Lands. Like, it's not D6. And I'm kind of I could say it. Okay. There you go. So, yes, I will get in on that. And the thing is, they probably already have it, quarter baked, half baked. Like I'm telling you, I'm going to keep track of Free League stuff. They're going to put the Kickstarter out there on March 19th. They're going to say the expected delivery date, and they're going to freaking deliver. I hope. Although I think Moria is probably not doing well in the delivery space. I don't know. Oh, I got a cramp in my foot. That's fantastic. Looks pretty. Never played Coriolis, but this may pull me in for sure. Looks fantastic. Bill Payne says, in interviews, the writers of Coriolis said that they've tweaked a bunch of stuff, including darkness points. Thanks, Bill. And good to see you. Streamlined it a bit. Don't know if I would call that a second edition. Yeah. Simplified rules. By the way, only a few hours left in Cyberpunk Humble Bundle. Good to know. Bill Payne says the Forbidden Lands connections sound great. Phil says, don't know if I'll kickstart due to shipping fees, but once this lands at my LGS, this will be an instant purchase. Wayne says, the meta plot stuff put me off Coriolis. This is going to be open-ended. Less icons focused from what I hear. Yeah, right. That makes sense. Because there's a component of icons, and Coriolis is very touted and very influenced by Arabian Nights in space. And you can, it's The Expanse. They have a list of kind of influences of playing Coriolis, but it is very faction based. There are the icons. There's these gates that take you to, different worlds like the Third Horizon. And there's the folks that originated and then traveled, and then there were people that were like born there. It's lots of stuff, folks, in Coriolis. So this is going to take you probably out of that, all that stuff where it's like, well, maybe the setting will get out of its way. And now you're going to travel, like it said, the Great Dark, and delve deep into ancient ruins and go more. You can do that in the Coriolis game as it is now. But I think with this one, with the elements of exploration and expedition, they're going to build those in, which they're not native to Coriolis as it stands right now. The fourth horizon, yeah. So anyways, yay. Dudes, what am I doing over here? I gotta get rid of all my books and just play like a handful of games. What am I doing? Let's get into some print news, yo. Oh, I should probably put this in there. I don't think I put the link in there. And if I did, well, it's Free League, so I could put it in there twice if I want. All right. Print news. Oh, look at that. Oh, the first one up on print news. I didn't plan it that way, I promise. Print stuff. Print news, print stuff. I only do it because of EN World. So EN World, no affiliation. I get nothing from EN World. Go and check out enworld.org. Go click on all their ads. Print, Ad Astra by Free League Publishing. Mutant Year Zero hardcover supplements now available for about $42. You can play Mutant Year Zero in space. Jonathan Hicks's Pressure. I had brought this up before by Osprey Games. So this is out. Hardcover rulebook for 25 bones. And the system it uses is Those Dark Places industrial science fiction role-playing. So its own kind of system, if you will. PCs bring law and order to the dark and dangerous corners of the deep black in a rules-light, story-focused game of facing the darkness at the heart of humanity's fragile and claustrophobic existence both on Earth and among the stars. I might have to give science fiction, whatever, like space, I might have to give that a whirl. I haven't played in one, haven't run one in any, I wouldn't consider Star Wars in that lump, but there's some good ones out there. Death in Space, this one's probably pretty good, I'm guessing. Coriolis, Traveler, Traveler's still a good game. All right, this one, let's see. Unglorious RPG Core Book, Unglorious Ferryman Sea Green, Unglorious Sea of Bones, Unglorious Lead of the Dead by Aces Games, and Unglorious The PCs Are Dead. Well, that's a wacky way of starting a game. Many of them died stupid deaths. Well, now it makes sense. Some don't even have a body left to mourn. The PCs find themselves in the Orchard, the world of the dead, a metropolis inhabited by unliving corpses. So the PCs die. And then the PCs embark on an adventure, not of a lifetime, but of a time after life. Oh. They face all the world of Mora throws at them. They get a death certificate, which is a character sheet, and a rusty sword and set off. Of course it's rusty. After all, it died too. Oh, okay. I get it. It's good. I like it. Check it out. Next, Flostavia. The Infinite Crossroads, Flostavia. The Infinite Crossroads Map Pack, Adventures 1, Shadow Threats. Anime 5e. Insider details about the history, culture, factions, folk, magic, and creatures of Flostavia's 8 continents and wondrous extraplanar regions. 4 additional attributes. 14 player character species. I got a frog coming up in my throat. Tome of Essential Horrors by Frog God Games. Excuse me. Softcover supplement. 100 monsters with a full OSC stat block. Black and white art. Counter that highlights the creature. Example monsters include Witch Tree, the Riptide Horror, the Cave Fisher, and Pyrolisk. And then this one, 5th edition fantasy, Prism of Redemption, and 5th edition fantasy, The Sunless Garden. One is by Brendan LaSalle. Both are of Goodman Games. The other one is by H.H. Carlin. Both 5e. Well, hold on a second. Mwah, mwah. Something's wrong here. So, system says Dungeon Crawl Classics, but then on the covers it says 5e. So, yeah. Just because they're done by Goodman Games does not mean that it's DCC. So, I think that might be typo. Or it might be for both. But I think this line, well, it says 5th edition fantasy. So, yeah, it's 5e, not DCC. So, there you go. That's it for print, yo. I'm sure there's more out there, but, DC 5e. Whoa, hey-oh. Come on, Roger. That's radical. Should do some crowdfunding. What's out there? Let's talk about some crowdfunding. All right. It's got 5 days as of this recording. We're recording this live the 24th of February. This Kickstarter ends in 5 days. This was brought to my attention. I think I stumbled across it. And then Carl Kiesler, who I mentioned meeting at GameholeCon and I'm being a fan of his, brought this to my attention, like literally sent me like, hey, Sean, can you get the word out? We're doing this Kickstarter. And if it's got Carl behind it, graphics are going to be awesome. So Sidewinder recoiled for Savage Worlds, the 20th anniversary edition, which I did not know, of Sidewinder Recoiled, a traditional Western tabletop role-playing game for use with Savage Worlds. I don't know if I did. I played Weird Frontiers. I was going to say, I don't know if I've ever played a freaking Western RPG, but I did once. Dave Beatty's. So anyways, it's funded. It had a $5,000 goal. It's at $8,000. It has 5 days to go. It's by Carl Kiesler. It's the second. He's created two. So when it says two created, does it count this one? Anyways, he's back 94. He is so top-notch graphic designer. He really is. So this, if you like Westerns, Savage Sidewinder focuses on the Old West during the 19th century in North America. As such, it is described as a traditional Western set against historical backdrop of westward expansion in the U.S. The core setting book offers ideas and guidelines for running a game in either of two time periods, 1804 to 1848 or 1849 to 1899. It's got a book variety of setting rules, which build on the Savage Worlds game system. Most notably, Sidewinder Recoiled for Savage Worlds features 100 renowned edges, applying to 20 Western archetypes. Each renowned archetype has 5 edges to build and customize your hero, like your favorite pard from movies, TVs, and novels. So if you are a Western buff, or hey, you're like, I've always liked Deadlands, but I could do without the strangeness, here you go. Here you go. And they have a click to download free Jumpstart. Well, and that's true. Orcus Dorcas. Some people like the weird in the West. How's it different from Deadlands? It doesn't have the weirdness, is my guess. And it's probably graphically more appealing, in my opinion. I said it. Stuff over. Perhaps some self-promotion when we're doing crowdfunding. Hey, I pimped your stuff last week, Fraser. And yes, you can, for sure. Is your campaign still going, Fraser? Or is it over? That's okay. It's okay, man. But I did put it out there last week because I knew it was in progress. So I didn't want, just because you weren't here didn't mean I didn't want to recognize you, buddy. Didn't you see the huge spike? Like it probably went from like $1,000 to like $10,000, right? Like in the last week. I don't know. You can't put it in the chat though. That's the problem. I think there's a limitation in the chat. So it is indeed. Link above. Yeah, you guys are hilarious. Anyways, let's and here is the preview, so I'll link straight to the preview if you want to check it out. I should have Brett do those. And your stuff funded, right, Fraser? I think it was funded when I talked about it, but I don't remember. Should I bring it up? Kickstarter. I think it was this one. Look at that. I gotta say, Kickstarter's got some good SEO. There it is. Oh, it's still going. Okay, there we go. We'll put it out there again. Nefertiti Overdrive. Fraser Ronald, the actual creator, is in the chat room. And like I said last week, if you're like, hey, you know what, it's not really my jam, you could still kick in a few bucks to help out Fraser get it to the market. So it still needs a little ways. It needs a little push. Looks like he's trying to get up to 20. Was that 2,780? That's like Canadian dollars, right? So us Americans could probably push him over with just like a couple bucks each. There you go, Fraser. I hope it gets funded, buddy. Here, I'll kick in for that thing. Let me kick in. Let's see. What do we got here? I'll go for the PDF. Don't look at my password. That I should probably not put up there. That's all right. My passwords I'm not as worried about as much as my credit card. There you go. I'll tweet that too. Go out and back it. Dirty rascals. There. All right. OPSEC, my dude. OPSEC indeed. I haven't heard that term in a while. All right. This one, Savage World Science Fiction Companion, $4,000 goal. 4,000. It's at 209. Come on, Pinnacle. Did you really think it was only going to hit 4? These guys. It funded in like 3 seconds. Give me 2 minutes and Sean will back. Yeah. Decipher my credit card number. That's fine. Whatever. I just canceled my card. I get the payment to Fraser and then I'll cancel it. Yeah, it's that too for sure, Laramie. I have not gotten into this though. I just don't run enough Savage Worlds. So. And it's probably a good one to have. That and the Fantasy Companion, right? If you really want the library to be able to play whatever you want, Savage Worlds. The lowest thing would be $30 for the digital. Okay, there you go. And then let's get to Ian Worlds, see what they've got going on. So Ian World, not affiliated again, but a great site. Go check them out. They usually feature crowdfunding campaigns that are in the end stages. And if it's Zine Quest, sometimes they can't put all of them on there. So it gets kind of unwieldy and large for Zine Quest. But you can go and check out Zine Quest campaign on Kickstarter, Crowdfunder, BackerKit. First one, Adventures on the Purple Planet. I think we brought this up before. It's doing really well. It's on BackerKit. I don't even know where it's at. Want any guesses? Don't look. Any guesses on where Purple Planet is from Goodman Games? I'm going to say 250? 250K? Anybody? It's on BackerKit. Did I say it's on? Yeah, it's on BackerKit. Did I say somewhere else? Did I say Kickstarter? It's BackerKit. What is it? Where is that at? Not where, Laramie. Where's the funding? I know it's on BackerKit. Where are they at on funding? 250K? 300? 300, do I hear 300? 150, do I hear 150? Closest without going over. Guess where it is? Funding wise. In the Midwest, Laramie, we don't complete our sentences. That's the nature of it. And when we do, we end them in a preposition. Nobody guesses? Come on. I'm going to go 250. I'll go 250. Ready? $2.55. Not bad. Not bad. $2.55. 10 days left. Get it while it's hot. I should probably put Ian World's link in here before I forget. $1. You are wrong, sir. The price is wrong, Orcus. All right, second one, Veil of the Eternal Night, a grim dark fantasy adventure for 5e and Mythcraft. Project is a 3-volume grimdark fantasy adventure and setting. Veil of the Eternal Night promises over 700 pages with tons of content for 2 systems. Remember, more is better. Got to be a thing, right? Harker's Guide to Vampire Hunting, Grimdark Adventure Path, levels 1 to 10, 1 to 15 for Mythcraft. Yeah, lots of stuff there. Wow, wowzers, 20 grand, and it's at 387. So there you go. Brandon says Purple Planet is another Purple Planet. I backed Purple Planet. Pick the pickles. It's another thing I backed. I backed 2 of the sub projects to get extra stuff too. So he's on a sword and planet kick. Land of Vampires. It's the vampire hour this Saturday morning. Land of Vampires Slipping into Shadow from Grove Guardian Press. Another 5th edition. Now, if I was a vampire goth enthusiast, I would have a hard time going like, should I get this one? Or should I get this one? Vampire theme. Let's look at another game. 5e mixes it up with duet play. Duet play, 1 GM, 1 player. And its own campaign, which varies your character through levels 1 to 10. So that would probably make like, oh, well. Create a 170-page duet version. Well, it's obviously not enough pages. Just kidding. I'm just kidding, Grove Guardian. Looks like a phenomenal product. They are not funded yet. They have 6 days to go. $10,000 level, and it's at 7,600. So there you go. Next one. We brought this up before. This is the Punk is Dead one. Hoos liked it a lot from our Discord. This is like the Merc Borg. Great coffee table book. It's a compatible songwriting TTRPG. Super punk, man. What is that at? Do we know what that's at? I don't even know. Where's that at? It's on BackerKit. Thanks, Laramie. 2,000 quid. It's at 55.4. Ah, 1 digit off. Could have been 55. 55.555 with 5 days left. Yeah. There you go. The Gaia Complex, Evolution by Design from Handsore Publishing. 30 quid. It's got a quick start guide if you want it. That's good. There's like a lot of people putting out quick start guides. Like, hey, not a bad idea, right? Excuse me. The Gaia Complex is the combination of cyberpunk, post-apocalyptic, urban fantasy, and tabletop RPG. Sourcebook gives in-depth reviews. 3 non-human elements of the Gaia Complex: pharaohs, vampires, and artificial intelligence. There you go. 12,000 quid versus 6. And then Sidewire Recoiled. Just went over this one. So last one is Maricopa at the Maricopa. which is in Phoenix, Arizona, March 4th. This campaign ends. Phil Reed is going to be an industry guest. The con is in August the 11th. They are projecting attendance of 400 to 500 gamers and 8 to 9 vendors. So very quaint con. Some of the best are quaint cons. It's funded, so a lot of people express an interest in probably going. Terror of the Stratos Fiend, Snake Wolf 3, DCC RPG compatible. From Orbital Intelligence, 50 bones. This is as gonzo as it gets. That's what it says. 400 pages. 400. Lead with the page count. 400. Oh my God. Take my money. And a never-ending mega dungeon that will take your characters from levels 1 through 6 as you, deep breath, chase a man that touched a god which set off a conspiracy in a paranoid world. Seems like somebody's violated somebody there. This adventure is set in an evolving world, one where your encounters get weirder and weirder, which means it's more than I can explain here. So I highly recommend checking out their campaign page. $10,000 level or $10,000 goal. It's at 13. Last one, maybe not last one. Battle Zoo Ancestries, Classic Creatures. This is for 5e and Pathfinder 2e. 70 bones for the PDF and print versions. Plus VTT elements. So if you want to play monsters in your 5e Pathfinder 2e game, Roll for Combat has rules for 12 ancestries and 6 heritages to bring your players options like doppelgangers, gremlins, intelligent weapons, a dungeon with an avatar, and more. Just to find out, is it funded? Wow, 20 grand target, and it's funded at 77. There you go. I want to play an Ifriti. I want to play. Ooh, first 1,000 backers, Dice Guardian. Mimic Dice Guardian added to their pledge as a free gift. Ooh, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, it looks well put together for sure. There you go. There you go. So that is it. All right, man. That's all I have for this week. Pretty sure. Trying to think. Look at my notes. Nope, that pretty much wraps it up. So, I would like to thank all of these individuals for, and even more. There's one on there that's probably not listed who has helped me out financially as well. You know who you are. Thank you very much. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here today and in days past and future people that will watch this after the recording. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you, Andy. For sure. Always a treat to see. And, you know, if you don't wake it every week, it's always good to see somebody when they pop in and they've been gone for a little while. It's all right. Real life takes over. Sean gets a little boring. You take a break. It's all good. It's all good. I think that's all. Play hard, train hard, and live easy. There you go, Tim. That's Tim saying. I like it. So, be a positive force in tabletop RPG hobby. Spend time with the ones that you love and you care for. Play some games, whether it's game mastery or being a player. And don't get bogged down with life. And if you do get bogged down with life, you need somebody to talk to. head over to the BS Landia Discord. I think I still have a link down below. The only reason I might not is because we were starting to get a lot of people that were just showing up, and we suspect them as being bots. So we started kicking people. Well, Sean, So if you do join, make sure you just say hello. Like, you can lurk after that, but just acknowledge it with a hello in the intro when you get tagged there, and then we know that you're a human being. That's it. And then you can lurk all you want. As a matter of fact, Hoos will greet you and say, hey, tell us your gaming story. And if you're willing to share, great. If you're not, that's okay too. So anyways, I will sign off with that. Everybody have a great rest of your insert period of time here. And I hope to see you next week, where I stream here every Saturday, 8 a.m. Central Time, U.S. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everyone. See ya.